I want to talk about various transportation means. Getting around the islands, it's kind of an adventure. It's not really difficult. There's a lot of different methods, but some of them get a little odd. There's, of course, the sikad, the bicycle. The tricycle with the motorcycle. Everyone loves the jeepneys. Buses are more comfortable for long distance. Boats are great. There are various size boats depending on where you're going. And there's a bicycle built for two. If you don't want to travel too much, you can just dance and swim. There's many options. The kilometer markers are something to keep in mind of. The top number is just the kilometer marker of that highway. The bottom number is the nearest town. So at least you know where the CR and the gasoline is when you're traveling. I did make a video on this. I'll try and link to it down below. On the sikad, dancing is not the best option, but it is always available. For short distances, the bicycle sidecar is probably one of the most common around town. Just, they don't go very far because they are pedaling. So like I'm 6 miles from town, I can't take one of these, but just going around the neighborhood, we can use them. They're pretty good. Here I'm just following another expat in Manchuria. Here in my neighborhood, we just take it up and down the main road. It's about a kilometer, half a mile. Usually I walk, but if I have groceries or something, I'll go ahead and take a ride. But you gotta watch out for traffic. We're getting a traffic jam now. I don't know what we're gonna do. May not get through this traffic. The next step up in distance from the bicycle would be the motorcycle sidecar, what they call the tricycle. They'll get you around. They'll go pretty far, depending. Now, I've actually gone from one town to another on these. We'll go 30, 40 miles on them. They're not the most comfortable if you're going a long distance. I wish you could see inside that one. There was a goat. These were a little fast and close to the ground, so I hate to say it, but one night we were in one and hit a dog, and you've never hit a dog until you felt it rolling and rolling underneath the sidecar of the motorcycle. It's not always the best method of travel. They're actually probably one of the more dangerous because they go so fast and they're not really the best drivers, but they do work. Jeepneys are probably the most common. They'll get you all over. There's the local runs that go around town. There are long distance jeepneys that'll take you halfway around the island. They're really cheap. Probably the most common, definitely the most seen because of all the fancy jeepneys you'll see. But they're really easy to ride. They do tend to get pretty crowded, and you just slide in as tight as you need to get. Remember the old joke, how many people can fit in a jeepney? There's always room for one more. Front seat's not bad because there is some leg room, but generally you share that with another person. And of course, there's always room on the back. From the back, the view is not always the best, but you gotta watch out for traffic. Another fun-filled trip into the city. Just can't plan for traffic like this. Sometimes the traffic is not traffic, it's a parade, or sometimes a funeral. You share the road with everyone and everything. We have been stuck behind funeral processions, cows, bicycles, any number of things. My favorite seat is the back, right next to the door. You get to lean up against the wall. It's more comfortable in the corner, and you've only got one person crowding against you. The easiest and most comfortable for me. Generally, they let you have it if you look old. I miss these old ones. There's a few of these still around. They are the coolest looking ones. They have this really nice metal work in them. None of the new ones have any of this stuff done. And you can tell by the tail lights on this one that it's old. I mean, it looks like early 60s. These tail lights are really, really old. But some of these guys maintain their stuff really well. And sometimes the top is filled with other things. These poor guys are all legs tied together and they fell off. So we had to stop, pick them back up, move them to the front. Welcome to the Philippines. We got a nice new bus terminal in Iloilo. This one's really good. Inside's got a couple of restaurants, bathrooms. It's really good. This is more common. It's just a small stop on the side of the highway. It's got a bathroom, a store, maybe a restaurant. The drivers, I think, get a kickback because these aren't official stops. These are just places that they stop. One of my favorite things about the buses is the view, because you're usually going a longer distance. Jeepneys, motorcycles, and all that, you're not going too far. The buses will take you all over, and this is crossing the mountains into Antique, and the view is just so pretty. There are vans you can take, but they tend to cram people in so much tighter. I don't like them, and they drive really crazy. The buses can get pretty wild, but the vans, I think, are just way too dangerous. Unless you rent out the whole van for the day, and we've done that, then you have a little more control over it. It's also more comfortable. But when they start cramming in extra people in those vans, they get really for a long, uncomfortable ride. So I like this bus. And you'll also notice some of the tricycles are various sizes. Some places have bigger ones. If there's more touristy, they get bigger. But like this, as I said, the bus just gives you some of the best views. Isn't this great? This is just running down the highway. Nowhere in particular, just another day in paradise. I love the views here from any mode of transportation. If you're on the bus, make sure and bring something to keep your interest. Otherwise, you'll go stir crazy. It's too late for me. And don't forget some of the wonderful cup of noodle meals on the bus. Most towns will have a big terminal for vans and buses. We've got one right here next to each other. You got the vans here. Next door is buses. There's a lot of little stores. I think there's a bathroom in there somewhere. I've never looked. Always a lot of people here willing to help you. I don't let them carry my bags. They're probably honest. I just carry my own bags. But there are always people trying to get you on the right bus and on the right van. And sometimes they are right and sometimes they're not. So make sure and double check. Of course, there's always the vendors walking around selling the water and the snacks. You come around, there's also numerous shops at the terminals. This is like a big official van and bus terminal. This is not anything fancy, but it's actually one of the better ones I've seen. They have buses piled up back here. You saw the vans piled up on the other side. And here you will always have connections to all your local modes. There's the tricycle, the taxis, the jeepneys, all of it's right here. Easy to get to. So from the terminal, you can always get wherever you need to go. The long distance on the bus or the vans is usually the most convenient way, most common. You can take the jeepneys, will get you halfway around the island sometimes. They're not bad. But the bus, I can go all the way, like a 7-hour ride costs, I forget, like $5. I mean, you can't beat it. The vans are about the same price as the bus. And we We got some musicians here across the street from the terminal. Bye-bye. Being an old sailor, and we live on 7,000 islands, one of my favorites is the boats. This is a nice little ferry. It's just for people. They've got bigger ones with the ramp. It's called the row, roll on, roll off. You take your car or your motorcycle. They get pretty big, some of them. And they'll have staterooms you can sleep in, or a big common area with bunk beds. Price will vary. Air conditioning may or may not be there. The smaller boats are great to go just for short island hops. I really like the boats, and they're crazy cheap. You can go pretty far. I mean, you can go from Iloilo to Manila for 20 bucks. It's an overnight, or I forget how long. It's a combination. You ride a bus, they take the bus onto the row, and then you can go, numerous, across 3 or 4 different islands. It's crazy, and it's unbelievably cheap. So you can really get around. This, of course, is the boat to Boracay. That's my favorite boat because I love the island of Boracay. Sailboats are always an option. They don't get you very far, but they get you to some of the best places. When you're on a small island, you take the little sailboat to the others. Of course, you could always take a paddleboard, or as I said, swim. That is always an option. Doesn't matter how you get here. Just get here. It's beautiful. You want to come here, enjoy the day, have a good time. Life without filters. These are some of the most beautiful scenery here. So whatever you do, just get here, however you get here. But you gotta watch out for traffic. Enjoy your day in paradise.